Where'd you get that badge from?
Bought it offline.
You got this online?
It was, well, at one point my father.
This is the story of a teenager whose dream to be a cop went too far, leading to a shocking impersonation and a dangerous game of deception. It's 12:30 a.m. on a quiet Monday morning. A police officer out on his patrol notices something strange, a car with flashing police lights pulling over a vehicle. But there's something off about this traffic stop. The officer slows his car and watches the scene unfold. Something doesn't seem right. The officer approaches the 18-year-old Brendan Wysinski.
I know, I'm under-equipped.
Okay, because normally, dude, if we're out here, man, if you're making a traffic stop, you're just gonna have to stop, dude. Alright? Are you, you say you work for Warren Sheriff's?
Yes, sir.
Wysinski claims to be a deputy sheriff, but something doesn't add up. He's not in uniform, and his badge doesn't look official. The officer begins to notice more discrepancies. Wysinski's badge and the lights on the SUV look out of place.
Do you have an ID with you?
I mean, this is all I got. I mean, like I said, I'm under-equipped. I was just heading over there to the courthouse.
To the courthouse for what?
To get my crap.
Wysinski's story doesn't hold up. The officer asks him for his identification and orders him to release the driver he unlawfully stopped.
I understand. For starters, I know this looks really bad.
Right.
This looks really bad. This screams whacker.
As the officer waits for backup, Wysinski's story begins to unravel. He tries to explain himself, but his nervousness is clear.
Right. How long you been on?
About 3 years.
Okay. I've been on for like 13 years. Alright, so I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not saying that I've never done anything against protocol, but you need to be a little bit more careful, alright?
Yes, sir.
So just do me a favor, hang tight for a second, okay?
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna, and that's it, alright? Once we're done here, just give me a bit, alright? Thanks.
The officer's suspicion only grows as Wysinski becomes more defensive. Wysinski tried to explain the situation. So, right off the bat, we can see that the officer is trying to keep the situation under control without immediately escalating things. Instead of handcuffing the individual, he opts for a less confrontational approach, having them sit in the back of the car.
What's that?
Can I talk to you real quick?
Yeah, give me 1 second. What's up, man?
Alright. I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you. I'm not a cop.
Wysinski finally admits the truth. He's not a police officer, and everything he said was a lie.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be.
Where'd you get that badge from?
I bought it offline.
Okay. Do me a favor, stay in here, okay? For a second.
In a moment of honesty, Wysinski admits that the badge, the lights, the entire act, it was all a lie.
You got this online?
It was, well, at one point my father.
Wysinski changes his story once again, but this time he claims the badge was a family heirloom. But when pressed further, Wysinski admits the badge was never his father's, but just another online purchase.
All right, Brandon, I'm just gonna put on the seatbelt, okay? So I need you to lean back a little bit. Thank you.
Can I please call my wife?
I'll give you, when we get to the substation, we'll give her a call, okay?
So at this point, the officer is just keeping it simple, letting them know they're headed to the substation.
At this point right now, you are being under arrest. Do you understand?
Okay.
Wysinski's actions could have escalated quickly, but thanks to the officer's quick thinking, the situation was resolved without harm.
Let me take off one of the handcuffs. That way you can sit down a little more comfortable. Before I start everything, I just want to advise you of your Miranda rights, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided to you by court.
This conversation starts with the officer reading the Miranda rights.
At this time, if you wish to talk to me, you can stop talking to me at any time. Would you like to talk to me about what happened tonight?
Yeah, might as well. I'll own it. I'll own it.
Can you just tell me from the beginning what happened before I approached you?
I was going to work. Caught this guy flying down the highway at 120.
Where do you work at?
I work at Albuquerque Courtesy and Parking.
Courtesy and Parking?
Mm-hmm.
Is that for the city or who does that for?
It's a security company.
Okay. And say that again? The Albuquerque
Courtesy and Parking.
Courtesy and Parking. Okay. I'm like, okay. How do you know how fast the other car was going?
Trailed behind him.
Okay. And then what happened when you saw him going that fast? Was it on the freeway, on the street?
Freeway.
Okay, then what happened?
Flashed my lights, pulled him over.
Okay.
And then that's about the time that you got there.
Okay. The lights, were they in your car or personal car or company car?
My car.
Your personal car?
Yes.
Okay. Who installed the lights in your car?
I did.
You did? Okay, and when I peeked into your car, I also saw that you had some sort of radio. Is that yours too? Okay. Okay. And then when I made contact with you, I noticed you had a badge. Where'd you get that badge from?
It belonged to my dad.
It belongs to your dad? When was
Well,
he?
it did.
It did? Is he still around, or did he pass away?
Well, he was killed.
Oh, he was killed, okay. When was he killed?
About 5-6 years ago.
Okay. When did he leave the department?
He didn't leave. He was killed in line of duty.
Oh, was he now? Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
The person being questioned willingly agrees to talk, explaining that they saw a car speeding at 120 miles per hour and decided to pull it over. The big issue? They're not a cop. They work security. The officer quickly picks up on some red flags. At this point, it's clear the officer suspects them of impersonating law enforcement. Whether they were just trying to help or intentionally acting like a cop is the big question. Either way, this situation isn't looking good for them.
Okay. And you said he used to work for BCSO, Bernalillo County Sheriff's?
The person being questioned claims they used to work for Broward County Sheriff's Office, BCSO, and their father did too. The officer asks why they identified as a deputy, and they admit to it. The officer also brings up a driver's excuse about rushing to the hospital, advising it's not worth speeding for. This suggests the person may be impersonating an officer.
Why did you identify yourself as a deputy or part of BCSO?
I freaked out.
Okay. Okay, because I asked you your date of birth and you initially gave me something in 1994.
Right.
Wyszynski was arrested for impersonating a police officer, but thanks to good police work, the situation was safely resolved. For more real action, subscribe for more unexpected moments.